introducing an amazing man who's written 3 amazing books. And here's the thing. When you know someone is an author, you gotta pull on them a little bit. You gotta ask questions. You gotta see, where his head is, what made them write those books. And I was really grateful to a lot of questions that have been posed upon me as an author. And so now I'm delving into this amazing man of God. And I call him a man of God because he was born in the church. Well, that's my brother. And we found out some amazing things in relationship that I want him to just elaborate on. And I'll pick your brain with it in a minute so you can break it down how we found out that we are blood connected. So I'm a little excited about that.
Who's ready to hear the backstory?
So Kevin, okay, so I gotta say this right, Timmy, I better not get this wrong. Okay, I gotta say this right. So our brother we have who released his 3rd book not too long ago, guys, his first book is Living My Shadows. If I get it out of order, Kevin, correct me. Then he has What the Blank, okay? And then Shadows of Emotions. I want to say thank you so much. And I'm going to say the full name, Kevin Hodge Niblack Barnett, Sr. We are so excited to have you on with us tonight to represent for the kingdom. So we say thank you so much for joining the talk tonight. This is the Talk Storm. I want you to feel free. I want you to feel relaxed and do what you do. Because I know you've been doing some amazing things around the country. So we're going to give the floor to you. As before we actually give the floor to you, we want you to know we want you to participate. If you're the audience and you're making comments, please engage with us. Ask us questions. And we're going to hit you back as quick as we can. We're going to make certain that you guys are definitely interacting with us, and we're going to engage with you as well. There will be a time where we will answer questions if you want some live. We also have some questions that's in our arsenal, that we got saved up for people who pose questions on us every week when they have questions that's very major and they want to answer. So we're going to do a lot on tonight, but I just want to introduce to you Kevin Hodge. Tell me if I'm saying it wrong.
You good. You good.
Please give her a hand clap too.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for that warm welcome. Thank you very much for having me on your platform. Tim, Deborah, appreciate it. Say again, what happened?
Deborah.
I'm sorry. I thought folks called you Debbie.
Never. It's all good. It's all good.
Keep me straight. Keep it real.
Keep it real,
right. And so yeah, it's been a pleasure. I happened to saw the first 2 episodes, and I was very touched. And I can truly say that I had some of the same experiences that the conversation was about on the last 2 episodes. I don't know if you want me to go into my story or not, but
well, tell how we even how we know each other.
Okay. Well, to condense everything, my biological mother gave me up from birth at birth, and I wound up being in the foster care system for a long time, probably about 16 years or so. And then I wound up getting adopted by the Barnett family. And during that course of time, I wound up joining the military at the age of 27 or so. Between leaving home and joining the military, I always, wanted to find out where I came from, who I was, my background, where did I get my good looks from, and all that good stuff, right? Because I look different. I look different from my adopted family. I love my adopted family, but when you're trying to find out about yourself, you have a lot of unanswered things. Like simple things like going to the doctor and they ask you, do you have heart failure in your family? Do you have cancer? You can't answer none of that because you don't know. So make a long story short, I wound up started researching, hiring private investigators to find my loved ones, and I, did and dabbed into DNA tests, and joined a couple of Facebook groups, and got lucky, got blessed, whatever you want to call it. And a young lady said, "I think I know who your parents and stuff are," and she started sending some information to me, and lo and behold, I found out where my mother was at. My mother was actually about 45 minutes from East Orange. They reside in Asbury Park, the Neptune area in South Jersey. And I wound up meeting my mother for the first, well, I guess the second time. I guess the first time is when I was born, but the second time, and we had a little dinner. It was very touching. Then I would later find out who my father was. My father had passed away by the age of 50. So he passed away young. He had a heart attack. He was held hostage at a prison riot in Asbury Park. And so he never fully recovered from that. But anyway, his last name was Niblack. So I never heard that name in the world, ever. I was born Kevin Hodge. So my mother and everybody else, I understood that part, but I didn't understand anything about my father's name. Niblack to me was a very funny name, very unique name. So I started some Facebook groups, family groups and things like that. And I started dipping and dabbing more into my family background. And one of our relatives, I can say now, had some Niblacks in her Facebook page. And I was curious. I'm like, wow, that's kind of odd. That's a name that, boom. Next thing you know, I called some of the non-Black folks and said, yes, they're our relatives, they're our cousins. I said, what? And then I got a call from your mother, and we started talking late at night. At first I thought it was through marriage, but no, it's actually blood relatives. And I'm like, wow, it's crazy because I've known y'all pretty much all your life, and
most definitely
for this to happen was very crazy. And with all the other stuff that's happened and the circumstances that happened, we bond in so many different ways. So I couldn't, pass up this opportunity to be a part of this. My journey is still going on. I'm still finding family members all over the world. I wrote my third book. First book was Living My Shadows, Dreams Do Come True. And that was based off of me finding my family and all that good stuff. And the second book was Shadows of Emotion, which once you have found your family, there's a new element now because you have your biological family, both sides, and you have your adopted family. So now you got to try to merge them together. It's a lot of personalities. It's only one of me, as many of them. We had a couple of cookouts, a couple of family reunions. And then the third book was basically, it was a fun book. It was about military stuff. So based off of real situations, but names and characters was changed. And that book really didn't have nothing to do with me as far as adoption or anything like that. That was just military life and a bunch of fun stuff. And I just felt like working, writing it. But in a nutshell, that's my story. That's my story. During the course of my journey, being in the foster care system, I was abused mentally, physically, sexually, any way you can name it, put in a chair. I didn't have a bed. I slept on a cot. I had to crawl on hands and knees to sneak and see television, all kinds of stuff, which is outlined in this Shadow of Emotion. It's the first book. Living My Shadows. It was a terrible life. It was a terrible life. Another thing that we have in common is y'all lived on Amherst Street, and I lived on Amherst Street.
That was an interesting. That was a fun fact to discover because that was the very first home I've ever lived in. Really? Right, T? Very first home I've ever lived in was on Amherst Street.
Yep, I got a tattoo on my back, 218 Amherst Street. Yeah, behind me, but I will never forget. I never forget. The house is burned and gone now.
Yeah,
nothing but an empty lot.
And ours had a fire actually in '86 because I remember because I was in the middle of my first grade year. So I remember in '86 it was a fire at Amherst and we had to move to the other side of East Orange by Park Avenue in a whole different school district, and that's when we were right close to our aunties and the cousins, like because everybody lived in that cluster. 18th Street, 19th Street, Greenwood Avenue, Maple, that's where underneath lives. So we were just like really, really close. So everybody was in that area over there.
Yep, and I moved on the other side of Central Avenue. Springdale Avenue. So,
what was your feeling when you realized, because we was on the phone with mommy, you, me, and mommy, right? Mm-hmm. What was your feeling when you realized that Audrey was your blood cousin, my mother? What was your thoughts? Like, this is...
First of all, I thought it was crazy.
Yeah.